if you have been doing your work, the last few lessons have been a little bit depressing. World problems, global warming, coronavirus. But today I'm here to tell you things are getting better. It's getting better all the time. Do you know that one? Beatles song, George Harrison, Getting Better. Getting so much better all the time. It's not a singing lesson, I'm sorry. Okay, if you get your book, number 24, I think I stole this from Wikipedia. No, I found some information on somewhere, I can't remember, from the internet about things that are going well. In the news, we always get bad news. Oh no, but here's some good news, okay? And here's 10 things that are getting better. Okay, now there's some difficult vocabulary here. So I'm going to read through and talk about the vocabulary, okay? I'll try not to talk too long. Okay, number 1, please read. The percentage of the world's very poor has dropped a lot. Over 50% of the world's population was living in poverty in 1950. Ooh, today that number is less than 10%. What? Okay, it means the number of very poor people, people in poverty, poor people, no money. The number of people with no money has dropped a lot. In 1950, it was 50% of the world had no money. Now it's only 10% have no money, so that's better, right? Number 2, the percentage of the world's population who can read has skyrocketed since 1950 from 36% of the world's population to 83%. Okay, in 1950, only 36% of the world could read. They know how to read any language, English or Japanese or Swahili, anything. Now it's 83%, so more people can read. If you can read, you can learn new things. Your life is better if you know how to read, honestly. Okay. Number 3, murders and death have been decreasing for centuries. Wait a minute. Yes. Between 1300 and 1500, Englishmen, I'm an Englishman, were murdered, at an annual rate of about 20 per 100,000. That means about, for every 100,000 people, 20 people were murdered in between 1300 and 1500. Wow. In 2017, it was 1 person per 100,000 people in England. 1 person was murdered. Still, very bad 1 person, but better than 20 people. So crime getting lower. Why England? I don't know. They have numbers for England. Number 5, life expectancy has risen 20 years over the last half century. This is partly because of a drop in artificial causes like car accidents and murder. Okay, life expectancy has risen 20 years over the last century. Life expectancy. How long do you think you will live? In Japan, people should live to be, I think if you're a man, you live to be 81, a woman 87, something like that. Japan has the longest life expectancy you expect to live. And people expect to live longer and longer. It's gone up 20 years. Partly means a little because things like car accident and murder is going down, so people live longer. Wow, maybe. Okay, number 6, clean energy is getting cheaper and cheaper. The cost of solar power was $350 per megawatt hour in 2008, and it was $60 10 years later. What? The cost of making electricity from the sun, solar power, the cost is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So that's good. We can fight global warming because energy, easier to make energy. Don't have to burn coal and oil. Okay, number 7, more and more countries are adopting democracy since 1800. Democracy. You can vote. You can choose your government, not king and not queen. More countries can vote. Japan, England, most of Europe, America, France, that's in Europe. And there are more countries that are democratic, it says here. Maybe that's true, I don't know. Number 8, racist, sexist, and homophobic attitudes are becoming increasingly rare. Now, 90% of people think it's okay for black and white people to date each other. Okay, Racist, sexist, homophobic. Racist is when you don't like somebody because of the color of their skin. So we don't like racists now. Sexist means you don't like somebody because they're a woman. If they're a woman or a man, oh, we don't like women. Oh, we don't like men. That's sexist. Homophobic means scared of homosexuals. Boys who like boys and girls who like girls are homosexuals. And if you're homophobic, it means, I don't like that. But attitudes are changing. It used to be very common, but now people say, it's okay, I don't care. Go ahead. So that's good. Okay. Number 9, school bullying has decreased. Bullying, fighting in school. Give me your money. Oh, I'm sorry. Has decreased. Increase, decrease, go down. Really? I don't know. Is that true? School bullying has gone down? I don't know. Number 10. People are working fewer hours, but still earning more money. People in the United States worked 60-hour weeks in the 1800s, but this has dropped to less than 40 hours on average. Americans spend the majority of their time on luxuries. The percentage of the workforce that now retires at the age of 65 has now doubled. What? Okay, 3 points here, I think. Number 1, people are working not so long. Used to be, in the past, for example, Americans would work 60 hours in 1 week. Now it's less than 40 hours per week. Probably more in Japan, maybe. But and Americans spend more money on luxuries. Luxury means things you don't need but you want. For example, chocolate. You don't have to have chocolate, but it's nice. That's a luxury. Right? A luxury car is an expensive car. You don't need a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, but it's nice. But a Honda is okay, or Daihatsu is okay. So, luxury, okay. So most Americans spend most of their money on luxuries, okay. And then the percentage of the workforce that retires at the age of 65 has now doubled. So it means 2 times people, you can retire, finish your job at 65 and just go, finished. In the past, not so many people could do that. So these are examples of things that are getting better. Okay, right. You have some questions to go through here, and we'll talk about things that are getting better when I see you next. Okay, bye. This is The Return of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. It's called The Return because when Arthur Conan Doyle was writing these stories, he got bored of writing about Sherlock Holmes, always Sherlock Holmes. That was all he was writing about. And so he killed off Sherlock Holmes in famously fighting with his enemy in a waterfall, and he fell and he died. But he didn't die because Arthur Conan Doyle brought him back because everybody they wanted him to be alive so much. They said, you can't kill him. So it was kind of like a sequel. So they did The Return of Sherlock Holmes. So he came back 3 years later. And he wrote 3 stories here. Okay, I'm going to read the back and I'll ask you 3 questions. In 1891, the great detective Sherlock Holmes disappeared in Switzerland while working on a dangerous case. Everyone thought that he was dead. But 3 years later, he returned to England. Holmes and his friend, Dr. Watson, had many more adventures together. 3 of his most interesting cases are in this book. The Return of Sherlock Holmes. Okay, number 1, what year did Sherlock Holmes disappear? Number 2, what's his good friend and partner called? What's his name? And number 3, how many adventures are in this book? Ta-da! Okay, talk to you later.